Today I'm going to take you behind the scenes of a fashion shoot where I play with super saturated colors and gels. Hey everybody, Lindsay Adler here, and if you know my style, you know I love saturated colors. Plus, I love images that are really bold and graphic, and that is exactly what you're going to see in today's fashion shoot. The concept of this image began with the Pantone color of the year, illuminating yellow, and I knew I wanted to integrate this more into my work. So I selected a Savage Universal Canary background, and I wanted to begin by lighting that background to see how saturated and how glowing it could get. I wanted it to look almost neon. So I began this lighting setup by introducing two strobes. One on either side of the scene with no modifiers at all, just bare bulbs, because that would allow the color to be really saturated. Now for the entire shoot, I was shooting tethered, which allowed me to bring my images into Capture One and play around with the saturation, the contrast, and color grading so I could make sure that I was getting those crazy saturated colors that I was looking for. All right, so once I got the background perfect, it was time to introduce my main light. Now, the idea behind this shot is I wanted it to be so clean, bold, graphic, and crazy colorful, and I wanted to create as much contrast as possible. So, with the background being a warm color, I wanted to contrast it with a cool tone. I thought that would allow the subject to really just pop off of that background. And for that reason, I selected a blue gel on my main light. So in this shot, I added a zoom reflector and a blue gel, and I brought it relatively close to my subject because I wanted to make sure that blue light wasn't also hitting the background. If it was hitting the background, it might actually shift the color, and that's not something that I wanted. All right, so let's talk about my modifier choice. I purposely selected a hard modifier rather than an umbrella or a beauty dish because I wasn't thinking about just flattering the texture of the skin. I wanted to play with super strong highlights. So you can see that there's a beautiful glistening off her cheekbones and a lot of shine and glow off of the pleather of the piece that she's wearing. I knew that that would give the detail that I wanted and the shine and the contrast that I was looking for on my subject. For this shoot, I selected my go-to setup, the Canon EOS R5 and the RF24-105. When I shoot fashion, this is my go-to because it gives me so much flexibility. And so as I was shooting, I was able to get mid-length shots and then crop in for nice tight shots. And it allows me to keep moving, keep up the energy of the shoot, but allows me to get a lot of variety. When I shoot, I want to make sure every single pixel is on purpose. And so I'm really, really careful with my posing. Now, as I was looking at this shot, the entire purpose was to create something bold and graphic. So I was often posing her head in profile because I loved the shape of the piece and then also the gorgeous contours of her profile. That's what I thought made the most interesting results in this image. One of the secrets that you should know is most of the time, these super saturated colors, you don't just achieve them only in camera. It does take a little bit of post-processing. So while shooting tethered, not only did I play with the saturation, not only did I pump up the contrast, but I went into the individual colors. I targeted them specifically and I popped the saturation there as well. So yes, I did get to the general idea of the shot in camera, but man, you can enhance it and make the photo wow and those colors jump out if you add just a little bit of color grading. So if you like the results that we achieved here as much as I do, well, guess what? I've got a course dedicated to how to use gels. It's called The Magic of Gels. In this class, I show you how to place gels, color theory, how to achieve super saturation, and tons of different setups to get you inspired. In fact, a shot just like this one is in the Magic of Gels guide. The only difference, instead of using a yellow background, we gel a gray background to appear yellow. I love these images and they're going into my portfolio right now. So if you want to see the gear you use in the making of these shots, be sure to check out the links in the description below or visit adorama.com. And of course, please subscribe, please like, because guess what? I have a lot more of these videos, clean, bold, graphic fashion coming your way. See you next time.